1996 up in that joint, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure you had some reasonable doubts.
Listen, man, I rolled over afterwards. I was like, all right, you're going to be good for the next 30 days, baby. Let me tell you.
Oh, the
that
shit we
joint right
talk.
there is a 30-day experience.
The shit we talk, boy. You can build a house with it.
Bruh,
Oh.
Yo, you ain't never had one of them post-Valentine's Day Charlie horses in the growing area?
Hold up, bro.
No?
Hold up,
You
bro.
trying to have them flashback to when you was about 50 pounds lighter and a little bit more spry in your step than you used to be. You don't remember those joints? Okay, I'll be the only one.
First and foremost, it's called hydration, my guy. The fact that you go
No, brother. I was relieved.
The fact that you're going into
between me and her, I was
high
wildly
cardiovascular
hydrated,
activity without drinking water ahead of time.
That's why the beers is glistening today, because of the hydration.
I'm more suffered from a deficiency in fluids.
Yeah. No, listen. I was drinking and eating plenty. Everybody was all right. Everybody was all right. Happy Valentine's Day to you losers out there who was by yourself in your mom's basement. I dig it.
This nigga Elgin never fails to come in and just let shots loose. He don't care where them rounds go. He just be letting them.
And we went to the range. So I was, listen, Valentine's Day joy, took her to the range, first time, let her get a couple shots off. Got them juices flowing early.
Came back to get some shots off.
Early. I'm telling you, bro. Listen. Hey, listen, the game speaks for itself. If you need lessons, I'm telling you.
Listen, like I said, hydration is a motherfucker, my guy.
No, listen.
I hope that you're
I kept
recovering.
waving the waiter over, like, yo, leave that water pitcher on the table. Leave it right here. We're going to need that. Let me tell you. Bring that. She wanted to drink all them flowery, sweet drinks. Oh, no, sweetheart. No.
Listen, I am
pineapple juice and a little bit of water.
I will say that I am happy that Elgin is speaking as a man of a certain age. Because, oftentimes men come into these situations and tell these stories and act like they're invincible. But we know you get to a point in your life, you need all of the tools, utility to make sure things work the way they're supposed to work.
We are
I'm like Batman,
we are only mortal. We are only
taking
mortal.
any, you know what I mean?
We are only
no
mortal.
prep time. I'm great.
We're only mortal.
I planned that joint out weeks ago. Like, hey, I'm aware of this. For the next 3 days, I'm only eating these things. I'm cutting out, these particular foods, influencing some of these particular juices into my routine. Just making sure everything was working well-oiled machine.
The block armor was working heavy for my guy.
Bro, listen, we were not having any letdowns.
Kale.
No letdowns. I was ready for Doomsday, Dark Side. I was ready for everybody last night. You hear what I'm saying? I mean,
the wife.
Oh, I gotta ask the question, bro. You can say no or pass off.
I'm going to say no, but go ahead.
This is not your first time round doing this with this particular person, correct?
Oh no. This is I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not.
I know you're not one to no, but I'm asking specifically is
because this is the main. This is the main situation. This is the main situation.
Yeah. No, this is the only situation.
The only situation.
Yeah. No.
All of the prep that you do, I just want to make sure that it's
Elgin is not a philanderer.
Routine, and not because you want.
He's not for philanderer. He's not philanderer.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. No. I am not a Valentine's Day guy of gifts and doing all the commercialized aspect of the day. Yeah. When I think of Valentine's Day, it is an experience. It is about creating memories that carry on into the 15th, 16th, 17th, the rest of the fucking month and forever for us to look back on. So I'm approaching it in that manner of, hey, this is my partner. I want her to enjoy this experience, whatever it means. I don't have to buy gifts. I don't have to do all that, but I want her to feel loved in every capacity. So I'm approaching it from that standpoint.
I dig it. 100%. So we've already heard how Elgin spent his Valentine's Day yesterday. Crush, what did you get into for Valentine's Day, bro?
I mean, to be honest, after about 15 plus years of marriage, Valentine's Day, especially after the string of holidays and birthdays and everything, over time, it's easy to kind of ease back a little bit. But I did do my thing, We stepped out, got her some perfume and everything. I made it nice for her. I mean, she, little fun fact is that our relationship is built around a lot of personal letters between each other. And,
that's dope.
And I've been a little remiss in the past couple of holidays in my writing, and so I caught up. Caught up with her on that, and that meant everything. I mean, Valentine's Day for me, like Elgin implied, really is about the time spent with the person more than the things you may want to provide. I mean, if anything you do provide, it should have some kind of sentimental or deeper, knowing of the person. You know what I'm saying? Rather than, I mean, granted, yeah, they all appreciate the expensive candy. But even with the flowers, there can be a significance there too if you really know your partner. It's really a chance for me, I think, to spend time and to really show how much you know now, how much you value what you know about them.
Yeah, I did it 100%.
What about you, bro? Was it the couch or the bed? This you know what I mean?
No, yeah. Bro. Nah, man. It was all good. But you know that
she just had a birthday too, didn't she?
Yeah. She
you broke. How does it? How do people in the upper middle class get broke like that? How does that work out for you?
First world problems, my guy. No, but
not first world problems. Your problems, because we ain't got the same problems. Our problems are not the same.
No,
she be sitting with ambassadors and you and constituents. We are not.
You think you slick, bro?
I'm in the barbershop with the thugs, the drug dealers. You know what I mean?
I told you that my wife and I we've had a long-standing agreement that we're going to do most of the celebration for this month specifically in regards to her birthday. It's not to say that she doesn't get recognized or get cards or whatever on Valentine's Day.
But most of the energy is going to be focused on her birthday.
On her birthday, exactly. Yeah. So we went out, we did all the things and got her gifts and all that other stuff. And just spending time with her was the biggest and best part of that. And like Elgin was saying already, if you're waiting until the 14th of February to show your partner how much
she cheating. She already cheating. Yeah, she already cheating. She got something set up on the 15th. And the 13th. So
it's a wrap. It's a wrap, bro.
She should already have flowers from months ago.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny because I'm gonna make this about me for a second.
Of course, this is what we do. The first 15 minutes is about you, my guy.
I got you. You know me.
Dark Skin Brothers got to shine for at least 5 minutes on this show.
Listen, you know me. I got to get my compliment kink in, bro. I got to get it in. In any event, so the wife and I, we went out for her birthday. We went to dinner, and like I said, we dressed up. My wife loves to dress up. So
your wife stays fly. No disrespect. Engage.
Yeah, I do recall.
Oh my God.
I like to engage.
I roll. Oh,
man. Listen, I like to engage.
But old people can old dried up women can compliment you. But a bro can't say your wife stays fly. No disrespect.
I mean, look, my wife said the same thing. We all stepped out with us. Oh my gosh, she looks so nice.
Nope, we're not doing it.
You can tell her. You can tell her she said that.
Okay, I will tell her that your wife said that she looked nice.
But you won't tell her.
On the other hand,
I thought she looked nice too.
No. Oh, you too quick? No, you ain't gonna tell her that. Nope. You ain't gonna tell her that. Don't work like that. Nope.
But some light skin brothers say she look fly.
Listen. Quick side note. One of her friends, right? I told you I posted something the other day about an electrician coming into the house and doing some stuff, and he saw all of my sneakers, and he said, "Damn, man, how many feet do you need to wear all the sneakers that you got?" I said, "You only need 2, but you need a good concealed carry holster too." Right? And one of her friends jumped in the comments and was like, "You should have told him or shown him your wife's sneaker collection too." And I was like, "You want me to show another man that my wife doesn't know?"
Which one of your wife's friends was this? Because we like your wife's friends. Which she has a nice collection of friends. She got some stars. She got some starters on her team, bro.
Yeah, bro. Don't listen. You being that dude, like it was. God, man, I don't want to go too far off on the tangent and get back to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But my wife was hovering one time when we were talking, and she saw a comment that you made about one of her friends, and she just she lost it, bro. She lost it. She said, "What? This? What's going on with Elgin?" I was like, "Hey, bro, I don't know, though. I don't know."
Wait.
Threw his hands up.
You worked with this nigga?
I was like, "This motherfucker, don't."
He was like,
"Don't do
this nigga,
don't wrap me up, bro."
What he got
I
going
said,
on?
I said, "That's that nigga Elgin. I don't have nothing to do with it."
He hit you with this nigga.
Like, yo,
I said, "This nigga Elgin." Man, anyway, bro. So we go out and we dress up and do the whole thing, and we take pictures. We get somebody to take pictures of us for the night or whatever. And I realized that I was still losing so much weight, because what ended up happening is that I thought I looked nice in my jacket, right? And then after I saw the pictures, I looked like I was wearing my dad's coat. And I looked at my wife. I was like, "Why didn't you say something?" And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "If you were wearing a dress that was too small or too big, you would have said something." And she was like, "I thought you looked great either way." And it was like one of those experiences in that conversation that it was like, you got the right person, because it wasn't about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just laughing about that with her or whatever. And then something happened the other day, and I said the same thing. I was telling her, I was like, "Listen, regardless of what you feel like, as someone who's supposed to be your mirror or supposed to reflect how you look or present to the world, you look fantastic either way." Being able to experience those type of things with a partner outside of just a holiday is fucking fantastic. So
absolutely.
I got to ask you guys as we're going through this, though.
Let them know that something that they have on is not quite working in the direction that they want to go. There's a level of honesty that comes in there, right?
Say that again.
If she does not look good, if she doesn't have something on
now,
would you be like, "Yo, Mom, that
this
color don't flow with you"? You're in a safe place, right? You blink twice if you can say that. If you can't, it's okay. I understand.
My wife knows that I can at times be
an asshole.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Because in my honesty, sometimes I can forget to draw back in how I present my honesty, right? And I will tell her, "Hey, I might say something, I won't say inappropriate, but I don't always take her initial feelings into consideration when I'm presenting that truth." But I have always, and my wife has always, we've always had that ability to say, "Okay, hey, that's not the look for you," right? Without her going over. That doesn't mean that you don't feel some sort of way after the fact, but the honesty is there. You get what I'm saying? So
that's important.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask the question, bro, before we run out of this Valentine's thing. What is the worst Valentine's experience you've ever had? Either one of you.
I don't know if the statute of limitations is up on my joint, so I'm going to pass on this one, my man.
This nigga, God damn it!
The worst.
The worst. Either meaning the day was just bad, the experience with that particular person was bad. Whatever the case is, the worst Valentine's experience you've ever had.
I don't think I have one of those, man.
I don't think I had anything that was disastrous like that. But I know there was over the eons now. I've had some misses, and one or two kind of. Well, yeah, there was one time, I think only one time when something planned just didn't go the way, but it was so long ago. It did kind of ruin the mood, but it wasn't a terrible day at the end. It was just I didn't plan enough for something. I can't remember what it was though, but it wasn't. I haven't had any catastrophic, Valentine's days.
I think the things that I've had happen would be just a misunderstanding of the philosophy of where we were in the relationship, more along the lines of.
I think that's accurate.
That's possible.
She had expectations of one thing, and I had expectations of another one. And because we never had that conversation, there was some wire crossing and maybe some early tension during Valentine's Day where she might have been expecting me to go more above and beyond than I did. Because I think in my younger years, I wasn't able to articulate quite how I view Valentine's Day and how I want to express it. So I moved this way, but the person I was with at the time didn't know I moved quite this way because I didn't articulate it. And she had one set of expectations and I had another set of expectations, and our wires got crossed. And it didn't turn into a disaster. It turned in a moment of tension where she was like, yo, where's, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I get this shit to you last week. Like, we do this all the time. This is, yeah, I mean, this is where we are. This is, you know what I mean? But she went on to express that how Valentine's Day for her meant more. It meant, and I was like, okay, well, I don't do that. How can we compromise and work together and figure out a place? And we had a great discussion about it.
This nigga
Clearly we're not
after
I don't do that.
After citing evidence of last time I came.
This nigga said I don't do that.
I just gave it to you last week.
I just gave that shit to you last week. Like, what you mean?
This motherfucking hell is ridiculous, dog. I swear. Crazy, dog. Crazy.
But I like romance. I like flowers. I like cards. I like that shit on a regular basis. I like to surprise her at a job and put a card or a note on her window so when she comes out, it's there. I like that shit on a regular. So you know damn well I'm not going. How you gonna go above that on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, if that's your regular MO, I can see that. I can see that. The worst Valentine's experience I ever had was when I was 20 years old. I was working at Circuit City at the time. And it was like the Star Trek phones was like the new popping thing or whatever. And I had a Star Trek phone. I thought I was bad shit. Not just because of the phone or whatever. I just thought I was bad shit at the time. And there was a little girl at there. A young lady at the Circuit City that I work with that I won't necessarily, as I look back on it, I will say that we were not necessarily an item, but people there knew that there was something between us, right? And I had already been intimate with this young lady before then. And then Valentine's Day, I'm thinking that we are an item. Valentine's Day rolls around and I'm calling her on the phone and she's not picking up. And I was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. So I leave school. I go grab some flowers, a balloon and a candy and all that other stuff and go by her apartment only to see another motherfucker coming out the apartment when I'm pulling up. And I was like, God damn. So I go to the door and I come inside and I'm like, yo, what was that all about? And she was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. And I was like, what? Hold up. We've been kicking it for like 4 months. It would have been nice if you told me that you had a boyfriend. You never said anything. I thought that we were a thing. And she was like, no, we never discussed exclusivity between the two of us. So I don't know how you jump to conclusions. That was the origin of my villain story there, and it became very bad for a little bit. But that was the worst one I ever had.
We could do an episode on relationships and how things transpired and just the growth from moving from, because that was a growth moment for you. And I'm sure going forward for you, you moved into a space where you always had that conversation up front.
Clarity off Jump Street.
Off Jump Street.
And if I didn't present it, I let them know, hey, I don't want us to jump to conclusions. At this point, we are in a stage where we are just figuring each other out. And when we both have come to a decision that, hey, we want to put a label on this, then we'll do that. But otherwise, nah, bro. Like I said, it changed my whole MO. Bro. Have you guys watched Cross yet or started watching it?
Yes, on episode 2.
Yes, and I have a critique and criticism and some
Of course, we already knew Siskel and Egbert would have a fucking critique of this joke. So since you have your critique, let's go ahead and, well, before we do that, I have watched the first 2 episodes. I'm started watching the third, but you know, the wife fell asleep and you know how that works. You can't watch that episode without your partner being awake to comprehend or see everything that's going on. But I'm liking it, but it's not meeting the level of intensity, at least for me.
You know, it must be so hard for you. Sign up to fight for truth and justice But do you know what that badge in your pocket makes you?
In this job, some days you are the difference.
Don't you know no one alive can all that the first season held. Like the first season started off out the gate with that whole interrogation of the racist murderer or whatever. Like him putting on Front Street everything that he was and what the show's essentially going to be about. And this season, though it's been interesting for me, it still hasn't hit the mark just yet. I'm waiting. We're only in episode 2, so we'll see what happens.
And I think the reason why it is not popping with that same level of boom for this particular season is because there was no expectations for the first season. There was nothing
that is very fair
to hold it up to. There was no standard, no barometer. So it came out of the gate and just was like, bam. So now you're going into, and I think that's one of the things that we got to be really careful of when we deal with these types of shows, particularly shows that have predominantly Black leads, whether it be actresses or actresses. We can be kind of, unfair in our criticism when we go
that's
about.
Fair. That's fair enough.
So I'm enjoying the show. Again, the standout for me is the relationship between Cross and his brother. I forgot his name that fast.
Little John.
John. That relationship to me, again, is the reason why I'm going to continue to watch the show, because it's the standout theme in the show for me to watch two men navigate some of the two Black men in positions of power navigate the complexities of growing up as best friends and still navigating the world as best friends and having to go through all of the things, holding each other accountable, making mistakes, apologizing, and moving. I think that they have done it's the best I've ever seen of two Black men being on the screen in their relationship. I can't think of another show where you had two Black men, strong Black men characters, where neither one of them are effeminate in any way. They're very masculine in their approach and how they navigate things. And for them to be able to maintain, I think it's standouts. Things that I'm critical of, I am critical of the relationship dynamic between Cross and Elle. I love the tension there. I love the tension. I think that tension is so beautiful and rich, how they are navigating that conflict of her feeling betrayed and harmed, and he still desires her and wants her, and he's craving her, and he's doing all. I think that storyline should last throughout the whole season. I think it's that intense, because I think you get something out of that you typically don't get on TV. It's either all rainbows and sunshine, right? Or it's just really in a fantasy type thing. That's a real thing there. Like, I identify with being in a position as a man where I want a woman to be my mate, but I have done something in the past to put her in a position where she's unlikely to ever be in that position with me again.
I can do that.
I love that. Yeah. But what I don't like the introduction of the potential romance between him and someone else. I don't know if you've gotten to that part yet, so I don't want to do any spoilers.
No, I haven't seen that part yet, but
it's something that happens that I'm like, damn, well, fuck that up. Y'all fuck the richness up.
Go ahead, Crush.
Well, I mean, I will say the thing that's standing out for me this season so far, my wife and I are enjoying it so far. We're about to watch episode 3 tonight. Like you've implied, I would say this season, the lack of that initial bite is because I think, like Elle also implied, they were not prepared for the success of the first season. So what are they doing now? And what I'm seeing? World building. They're setting a lot of stages, and it's even more character driven than the first season. There's a lot of tangible narratives with a lot of the cast this season. Especially like I indicated, the relationship between him and his partner and best friend. This is a friendship that transitioned into their professional lives. as adults, and when in a career that involves moral complications. The relationship with Elle, I do hope that while it's I do hope it doesn't get to any unrealistic stages. I hope it stays somewhere. I mean, because my wife, there were a couple points my wife was like, what I'm saying. He was like, I mean, so if the woman's like, I don't know, the sister was she drunk? Would I do that? Yeah. She had some back and forth about that, about some of the things that she was standing on versus,
she shouldn't have been standing on. But
yeah,
again,
I mean, the relationship with the family and all that, is understandable. Right? But that was the part that got a smidge unrealistic. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
The relationship with the family was
you mean, hold on. Stop for a second. You when you said the relationship with the family, you mean the relationship
Elle's continued
the relationship that she's built with his children and his grandmother.
Yeah.
Yes. It's trying to maintain that same relationship despite their relationship status. That shit's unrealistic.
It's a little.
That's not the way it works.
Look, look, we all have exes who got along with our mom, right? Right, but are any of them reached out to your mother in the past 5-10 years?
I would think that would be weird.
That would be weird to me too.
I don't know if it
even if they were tight
for myself.
Even if they were super tight, right, Elle? Even if they were super tight, that'd be a little weird.
I think I don't know if the rest of the world would think that it's weird, but I know for me, I would think that shit was weird.
I would think it's weird.
Broke up with me. If certain exes
felt,
what are you talking about?
Felt a bond with my mom still. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. No, y'all can do something smaller on a smaller scale, but you can't come around the same way you used to come around when I was clapping cheek.
Now the child thing. Now the child thing. I can understand. I can understand if a mentorship relationship has been established with a child that has actually been beneficial to their overall health. I've seen those situations before. You know what I'm saying? But that's been kind of the extent of it. You know what I'm saying? That might be a little bit of lingering sentiment, but not to the extent that, I come home and you coming downstairs.
But hold on.
You know what I'm saying? If you coming downstairs, I come home like,
to show the character some level of grace.
You wonder why I have your address.
No, hold on. To show the character some level of grace, right? I thought the same thing. I was like, you motherfuckers haven't known each other but for how many months? Like, how the fuck are you talking about that you can be in this house? But then I was like, they literally, the family, the kids, and this woman literally did get abducted and held like for ransom. There's some trauma bonding that's going on there.
No, and again,
real life.
I love the levels of. I even love the doubling back to them having that one moment of intimacy, and she comes out and she's like, "Yo, about last night. It was just about last night." And he's standing there like, whoa, I thought
it hit him.
I'm like,
it hit him.
He was like, I feel you. I was like, I done been there before.
It hit him, bro.
Yeah, but again, I think it shows the complexity of relationships. That relationships are not always as black and white, because even when you see her with the dude that she's currently dating, there's no chemistry. The shit is flat. The shit is corny. It's trash. But then when
it felt too new. It felt really new.
It felt like a rebound.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
and also I love the villain. I am team villain in this particular series.
Man, look,
villains are on the right side of the right thing.
Bro, the thing my wife kept saying is, look at the look at the villains we create.
I'm like, listen, man,
because we both kept saying the same thing. This woman did not have to do any of this. She was driven to that shit. She was driven to be the most efficient killer I have seen since Go-Go 13.
You are killing
not Go-Go 13. God damn.
This woman's so efficient. She is so brutally efficient.
I give you that.
You are killing people who
She's
are
like
in
a DMP of murder.
Like, I am with you.
They ripped this shit straight out of the headlines, my guy.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But you ever notice how now the villains have it's hard to see villains in TV shows and in anything now as real villains. It's like part of it is like now you can actually see where they're coming from. You can kind of understand. Like used to be villains were clear. Like back in the day, A villain was a villain. He was the clear bad guy. But now there's something about media where villains are not quite. Even when you think of Thanos.
Listen,
hold on.
I disagree.
Let me stop you right there.
I disagree. I think at this moment we are very aware of who the villains are.
Hold on. It is very.
They are cannibalistic.
It is very interesting to hear Elgin say that. It is very interesting to hear Elgin say that, because I remember not too long ago when the God, I forget the name of it now. Jesus and the Black Messiah, I think it was called, the one about Fred Hampton.
Oh yes,
right?
Yeah.
And I said, Elgin, I'm not saying I'm trying to rewrite history, but the way the film was presented was to show William O'Neill as a human being and then a bad guy. And Elgin was like, what reason do they have to show him as a human being? He's like, nigga, that's not me.
So hold on, what are we saying?
Because that makes compelling film.
I'm saying the same thing now that I said then. They were making the villain humanized. They're doing the same thing in media now. They are attempting to make the villains human, for there's a part of the villain that you can identify with and say, damn, they have a point there.
But you love villains. I don't even know why we're having this conversation.
What are you talking about? I love villains. What are you saying?
Wait, I think
you love villains.
Wait.
You were the first person I ever heard say Killmonger was right. He's the villain, correct? You said Thanos was right. You said villain, correct?
I don't think Killmonger was right. I think he was headed on the right path.
All right.
Okay, I don't think he was right.
I think we know the difference between Killmonger and what Lex Luthor did in Superman to that poor shopkeeper.
Absolutely.
That's some villainous shit. To shoot an innocent man in front of another man just because that man saved him.
That was really one of the first times that we've seen a villain like that on TV in a movie in a long time. That was that type of villain. They turned Thanos gave Thanos some humanistic component where you can kind of understand, like, yo, I dig it. Like, these fucked up people out here snapping the fingers and changing shit. I can kind of ride with it.
His argument was the excess of society. Like, the excess of society is killing us all. So we need to manage life.
Yeah, but you can't. Like, so for me, ultimately,
on the transatlantic slave trade.
Let me snap my fingers on some shit too. Make a whole lot of clear ass people.
You stupid.
Get some hair.
I gotta give it to the both of you though. I gotta give it to the both of you though. I really do agree with how the relationships are, and I think that's been the heart of this series anyway. It's just how the relationships build out.
They're definitely world building.
It's how the relationship.
I just don't know, like 8 episodes. They can't. I mean, that's really ambitious to put this much groundwork in 2 or 3 episodes for maybe. I mean, unless they extend it by 2 more, this is a lot to wait for season 3.
No, we'll see. But I do enjoy that relationship between him and his brother, because it shows that even as grown men, for as long as they've known each other, they said they've known each other since they were like 7 years old. They still haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
And you never actually ever
figure it out.
And they're trying to watching them try and figure it out. And then the relationship between Cross and L is like, how much grace do you afford somebody? How far is far enough in terms of punishing them? Like, how much is enough?
He did not intend for her to be a part of the situation.
But I know, but I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
But like, how much is enough? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. How far do you go? And how far do you allow yourself to go?
Yeah.
Like, how much more am I going to be sitting there as Cross? I'm done. Like, I didn't apologize multiple times. I didn't already said. I didn't went to therapy. I didn't did all the work. At this point in time, I am done trying to acquiesce myself. I'll be available for discussion and moving forward. But hoops, oh no, I didn't jump through all them joints already.
All the yearning is in a box.
Oh, no, I'm gonna ask you guys this, and we can wrap up on Cross. The acting, I feel, has been solid.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I think that Aldis Hodge is the weakest link, but the cast around, in my opinion, that's just my opinion. I didn't say
because you're a hater.
I didn't say that he was too.
My wife is a big fan.
Listen to what I'm saying. Can I finish? I'm not saying that I didn't say he's a Tubi movie.
And she was about to give you some information.
I'm just saying that I believe of the total cast that he isn't the best actor. However, the way the
world building,
everybody else does.
Building.
I think they elevate him though. I think they elevate him. They elevate him.
I think it's because of
the
writing room is adding more meat to the whole world. So I mean, they have to balance that out across.
Aldis Hodge at all. You are not a fan of his acting. You are, because we've talked about this. We talked about his role in Black Adam when he was. Yeah, I mean, you hated it then.
And in Underground. Yes.
Oh my God.
What about Leverage?
I'm going to say it again. Is he
She watched Leverage from season 1 to 8.
Listen, Leverage. I love that whole goofiness of Leverage. Leverage is one of my favorite shows, and it's weird, right? Because he was a standout character for me in Leverage. Even though we know, I forget what old white boy's name was supposed to be the focal point, but he was the standout character to me in Leverage. So expecting him to carry that weight into other IPs, he hasn't done it. I'm just saying he hasn't done it.
He is.
The nigga needs to go sit down with Samuel L. Jackson and take some classes or something. I don't know. I'm just
gonna learn from Samuel L. Samuel L. is the epitome of great black acting. Is that what we're saying?
I'm just
throw the snakes off the fucking plane. What?
No. Do you? The only reason why the only reason why I use Samuel L. The only reason why I use Samuel L. as an example is because I think that he told T.I. told a story about how he wanted to get into acting, and Samuel L. Jackson was like, "Nigga, you suck. Go meet me to come do some lessons," and it forced T.I. to for 3 months go meet with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, that's right. T.I. is now up for an Oscar in his latest role in the movie. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because that's worked out for T.I. What? You have to come up with better.
No, I said I used the example because it forced T.I. to do something different. T.I.'s problem is that he doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do. One day he wants to be a rapper, he wants to be a fucking actor, then he wants to be a comedian, he wants to do stand-up.
Yeah, that's his problem.
That's his problem. He needs to figure some shit out. All right.
I hate you so much.
I love you too, L.
Such a hater, my man.
I love you too, L.
You talking about people?
I'm cross, and that's John. Anyway, bro, we are now going to this year. We are celebrating the 100th year of Black Negro History Week or Black History Month. At this point, the world is changing very quickly. Well, let me not say the world. The United States is changing. Some would say reverting very, very quickly since the Trump administration took office beginning of last year. We see how the Trump administration tried to essentially tear down, not literally, but figuratively, the memorial to Medgar Evers because they didn't like the fact that they called the Klans member, the actual Klans member that killed him, a racist, and then wanted to rewrite his history. We're seeing this administration put out tweets it was under his Truth Social, but put out tweets showing the Obamas as monkeys and so on, and countless other things like we talked about the last time, what happened in Philly and all that other stuff with the memorial in Philly too. I got a question to ask you guys because I got into a conversation with a friend of mine, and he is a black man in law enforcement, and he openly admits that, hey, when he joined law enforcement, he was under the guise that, hey, you're going to join law. He's going to join and try and change the system from the inside. And not too long after that, he realized you're not changing this shit from the inside. This is not how that shit works. But we were talking about just how the Epstein files have been rolling out and the position and roles that we've seen, like Hillary Clinton in, and so on and so forth, and how that whole thing worked its way out. And he said something that kind of caught my mind. He said, with the way things are moving now, if you had told me things would be this bad or be getting this bad, I would have foregone having a black president for some time if it would have kept this type of stuff out of office or out of the general, out of American zeitgeist, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you guys the question: would you have held off on having a black president if it kept us out of the mess that we're currently in now. And once you guys give me your answers, I'm going to read you verbatim the question that or how he posed it. So who wants to go first?
I will. I don't.
I see your Elgin looking like he's ready to fart. Go ahead, bro.
Because I don't understand. I don't understand the thought process behind it. As if when we had a black president, we were at some great pinnacle of American life. Like things were great underneath him. That because we had a black president, it opened up the door for this overt white nationalist fascism. I don't think Barack Obama had anything to do with Trump being the person. While I do believe that there are many idiots out there who feel as though since we had a black president, that they wanted to vote to have somebody like Trump in office. But I don't think American life or life internationally for people, particularly in third world countries, were better when Obama was in office. That this idea that somehow Trump is the boogeyman, right? Instead of being the latest conductor on this particular train, I think that's the issue that so many people are still wrestling with, and they're still so focused on Trump being the guy and being the monster when there is a system that has been built on monsters being in that seat since the forming of this, what many would call a great nation. So I don't personally feel that way. I believe I have a view of Obama that while I think him being in office was symbolic, largely symbolic in nature for many black people, that they got some sense of power through the symbolism of having a black man sitting in that seat. But it wasn't as if things for black people changed dramatically when he was in office, that the material conditions of black people here or our brothers and sisters across the diaspora. Because when we start talking about immigration, we start talking about drones, and we start having these conversations on a broader level.
Yeah.
Obama's numbers and Trump's numbers.
We've always at least on this show we've said that Obama, we don't have any beef or hatred towards President Obama, right?
No.
I think that what we do recognize is that he's a politician, and to deify him would do a disservice to him as an individual, and to say that, hey, he's somehow necessarily different from the whole entire apparatus of the U.S. Political system that we've never ever seen before. Yes, he is the first black president of the United States. However, he was still the president of the United States, and there's still things that need to happen for the United States to continue to have that machine move. I'm going to read his what he said specifically, just to clarify, so the L sees what the dude's saying. He said, seriously, what did a black president get us beyond pride and proof in the accomplishment?
Agreed.
He was status quo, not revolutionary. And it could be said that the backlash has been worse than what existed before his presidency. So that's why he's saying, hey, if I had known, or if we had known, if he had known, let me say specifically, if he had known that it was going to get to this point, he said, I would have foregone having a black president for however many years it needs to take to avoid not having this current shit happen now.
Yeah. When you take the full thing in the statement in context, I dig what he's saying. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would be easy to attribute, our current situation in part as a backlash to the even symbolic, symbolic presence of a black president in U.S. history. However, that would be too easy to make us forget that everything that the GOP wants to happen right now are things they've wanted to happen since the 60s. From what they want to happen, what they wanted with the education department, what they've wanted with civil rights, what they've wanted with women's rights, what they've wanted with voting rights, the whole Project 2025, you may as well call it Project 1972. Nothing new. They wanted this they wanted all of this for a long time. And Trump is the easiest fool they can use to channel their anger through. He's the most willing to let the most willing vessel for their for their deliberate ignorance. So there's nothing. with or without Obama, this would have, given any kind of opening, all this was going to occur on one level or another. It's just the addition or the re-addition of a celebrity, ergo, Reagan to Trump, of a celebrity that allows spectacle and technology involved to be amplified far more than what its actual effectiveness or power really is. It's very hollow. It's very hollow in there. It's being propped up by idiots.
I think part of the conversation, honestly, is that there is such a, and once again, I can't understate, or we can't understate, that politicians are people that are put in place to manage our rights and our resources. That's it. They're not meant to be gods. They're not meant to be deified, and they're certainly not beyond critique. But very often, even to question it, to say, would you have rather not had Obama to avoid what we're seeing now? Some people would be like, I know folks off rip that would call you anti-black just because you even had.
Immediately. And I'm I understand when we talk about this. So we talk about a people who have been under a constant barrage of psycho oppression and abuse, right? Talking about people of the African diaspora in this particular country, people who have been constantly and consistently psychologically put in a place where they are consistently always in two positions, looking for ways of survival and hope, right? That's what we're constantly looking for.
Yeah.
So when we get into a position where either one of those things are possible, i.e. a Barack Obama in office, it makes logical sense that particularly the older civil rights generation would run to the polls and deify and lift him up to be this creature, this person. It makes complete sense that he is viewed that way by people today. I think the problem is that we haven't moved beyond that thinking when it comes to politicians.
Yeah,
that we're following
the next step.
Same positions with other black politicians, whether it be Westmore, whether it be Jeffries, whether it be whoever. We still are falling into the same thought process that this politician is going to save us. And I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take. And I think having Trump in office is going to ultimately do more harm to that thought process than it would help. Because now we are going to go to the polls. Many of you are going to go to the polls when it's time to vote for the next person to sit in this train and look for somebody who doesn't meet the policy needs that you want, who is not looking to change the material conditions of the people, who have a strong international policies. You're going to look for somebody who is antithetical to what Trump is.
Or at least presents as antithetical. Yeah.
We're going to be right back in the same position because we don't realize that these people are not put in there by your votes. They are put in other ways and other mechanisms. And it's a trap, family.
Yeah, it has become a trap. One of the things that I learned while reading this whole, currently the government is in partial shutdown because they refuse to do funding for DHS. So, and right now, one of the demands that the Democrats are asking is that ICE agents should not wear masks, right? But if you do a little bit more research, you find out that there is no countermeasure to that not wearing masks. So what I mean by that is that they're saying ICE agents should not wear masks. But if they wear masks, what is the punishment? There is no punishment.
See?
They did not put that. They did not leverage that in
nothing to hold them.
They did not leverage that in their ask at all. And there are many not nonprofits, but civil rights activist groups that have been pushing Democrats right now to say, hey, one of the stipulations you should make is if an agent wears a mask, commits a crime, violates somebody's civil liberties, civil rights, and we find out who they are, they should be allowed to be sued by the person whose rights they violated. And Democrats have been like, nah, we're not putting that in there. So like I said, and when you see that there are, and I'm not to say that everyone in the Democratic Party or every black politician currently in Congress supports this notion that they shouldn't be punished, because there are some that are saying that we need to have a stick here in the whole carrot and stick equation. But as leadership presents itself, it doesn't seem as though they really want any tangible change, because the only thing they're doing is asking for you not to wear a mask. Oh, and can you please also possibly wear a body cam too?
Which is different than what the people
What is the concept
are
of
asking
diversity
for,
here?
because the people are not asking for that. Polls that Dems and other motherfuckers are doing are displaying that people are calling for the absolute abolishing of DHS and ICE. They're not looking to have more stringent reforms.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
about
yo,
30, almost 30+%
this
asking
shit's
for
not
to
working, man. Like, yo,
abolish
get
ICE.
rid of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like once again, I think we talked about this the last show too. It's not like ICE is an old organization.
ICE
It's
is
only 20-some
new,
years old.
man.
Like they
Like,
were
yeah.
doing these types of functions before ICE was created. Like you can find a way to maneuver and still get the job done without having a whole. I don't. One of the things that's been blowing my mind, and I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, but as we watch ICE not only expand its power, folks are going into homes and picking people up without a warrant. They're creating quote unquote detention center. Well, they're creating detention centers, but these are concentration camps for real. Buying up property
in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Property across the country in Washington County. Washington County here in Maryland, they bought this big ass, almost 30,000 square foot warehouse that's going to turn into,
outside Germantown too.
Turn into a damn detention center to do
concentration camp.
For who and for why? You going to be able to jump into people's homes without a warrant, take them, disappear them, no warrant, no nothing. Just
it is very much like the boom of building prisons and jails.
The industrial complex, yes, sir. Yeah,
very much when these people invest in these communities, right? They go into these communities. Typically, the communities are looking for jobs. They have low socioeconomic situations. Poverty is running, and these people are looking for ways to be able to provide for their families.
Yep.
In order to build
come here so that we can provide jobs and facilities so you guys
you gotta have things, you gotta have people to put in the prison.
Yeah.
So nobody's spending $85 million on a big old empty warehouse thinking that they ain't gonna have nobody to put in there.
Bro, and they're buying them up buying them up all over the place, man. And it's scary to think, dog. It's scary to think.
It's scary to think about who's gonna be next.
Bro.
They get put up in that joint.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys, man. You know, I'm a range head. I'm always at the range. I have not been to the range so far this year at all. Well, probably since the end of last year, I have not been to the range, and that's because the range that I go to in that area, there are a lot of ICE raids that have been happening. Sure. So dark-skinned nigga like me with a funny name that stays strapped, it doesn't bode well. It's not a good equation.
Well. It's not a happy ending to that story.
It's not a happy ending, my guy. It's not a happy, and especially if they're able to stop and remove people from their vehicles and question them. Even though ICE, I want to remind folks, ICE, CPB do not have the ability or the right to do policing actions. They have to be targeted. For them to be able to stop and remove anybody from their vehicle and just pick them up anyhow, bro, it's terrifying. So my wife was even asking me, she was like, I've seen you at home just playing your guitar all the time, and I haven't seen you go to the range. What's up? And I said the same thing to her. She's like, nope, you're right. Stay home. I recognize it.
Yeah, it's dangerous out there, man.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I'm struggling with the most is that even while this is a raging huge issue in particularly poor working class communities are being hit, right? People are still twisted in their understanding. We're having to do way more political education in regards to immigration and all these things. There are so many people who look like us, who are in the same positions that are, actually believe that what ICE is doing is the right thing.
It's the right thing to do.
The only issue that they have is that ICE has made some mistakes here and there. But it's this, and what we're saying on the community level is that's the same thing motherfuckers were saying when they were shooting us.
We've been talking about police doing this for the longest time.
That we've been saying.
It's just that the victims are different.
It is so, our minds are so twisted, man, and it is so hard out this joint, man, to get people to understand that what ICE is doing is evil.
I mean,
they're not making mistakes.
And if in some twisted sense you're thinking that what ICE is doing is going to benefit or open up opportunity for your local economy because gaps have been opened, you are sorely mistaken. You are sorely mistaken.
Beforehand, like,
I mean, the jobs weren't there, but the jobs weren't there when they were there. They still won't be there when they're gone. Are you hoping for more jobs when all these people get picked up?
I think the trick of it also is I'm seeing a lot of local police departments come out and put statements out regarding and making it clear that they are not that they're not working with ICE. And I see a lot of
delineation between them and federal agents.
I see a lot of us applauding
bro,
those statements. And I'm coming through like, yo, what the fuck y'all clapping for?
Y'all part of the same family.
Yeah, all y'all said was they're not going to work with them. But don't you realize that they're sitting there with these folks?
They're still doing the same shit out on the streets, bro. They're still doing the same thing. It's just that the attention is focused to federal agents, bro. Niggas are still getting pulled over.
Guys are coming out and saying that you're not working with ICE. They didn't condemn ICE. They didn't say if ICE agents do this, that they were going to arrest them and hold them accountable.
No,
all they said was, nah, we good. We're not on the same team.
Yeah, we're not on
y'all playing the same league.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking Eagles saying that they don't ride with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Y'all in the motherfucking NFL.
Y'all still in the NFL. Man. All getting paid by the same machine, bro. All getting paid by the same machine.
Us.
All right, bro. Let's move on. I sent you guys a video from 154, Akbar, Bajabiamila, and Godfrey, and they had an opportunity to talk to Boris Kodjoe. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, honestly, was because of the way Akbar and Godfrey, the way they seemed in such awe of the information.
Let's not talk about King Leopold.
Oh, wait.
You know King Leopold?
No, I don't.
Oh, my man.
King Leopold? You don't know
King? I don't There's a book called Leopold's Ghost. Go ahead. You want to tell? Or
yeah. Well, Leopold, we got to start further back.
Yes.
Berlin Conference, 1885. Check that.
Yeah.
Where all the colonial powers got together and decided to divide up Africa into 54 countries, right? Because before, Africa was the United States of Africa. It was just tribes all over the continent. There were no borders. So they decided to divide up Africa in pieces, and then all these colonial powers took ownership of those countries. Exactly. And King Leopold took ownership of Central Africa and the Congo. And his reign of death resulted in 13 million people being killed.
Yeah.
And he would enslave them. He would make them cultivate the land. And if they came back with product under the limit, he would cut their limbs off.
Yeah.
Kids,
and they sell the hands, the chocolate hands. They still sell the hands and delicacies, chocolate hands.
They never taught me this in school.
Of course not.
You learn it outside of it. I learned it in college outside of that.
Yeah.
No.
You read outside.
Also, you got to realize
how European countries at the time came together to decide how they were going to split Africa as different countries and divide them and do all that stuff. And as Boris is breaking this down and talking about King Leopold and what the things that happened in the Congo and all these things to Akbar and Godfrey, and they seemed in such rapture, awe, surprise, shock. And it made me feel some sort of way, because if you're not aware, Akbar and Godfrey are both Nigerian Americans. Yes. If I'm not mistaken, they were both born here.
They're both born there. Yep.
I was kind of put off because I know that my mom, as a survivor of the Biafra War, made it very clear to me some of the things that happened in Africa because of colonialism and wartime efforts, I should say, for lack of a better description. My mom is the first person that told me about King Leopold and how what it's called is whether or not you want a short sleeve or a long sleeve. When these people were not meeting their quota to pick whatever the commodity is, they would be punished by either giving them a short sleeve, cutting their hand off, or a long sleeve, cutting them off at the elbow. and the countless stories you would hear about mothers and fathers literally sacrificing their limbs because their children did not meet a particular quota. So to hear two African men, two Nigerian men specifically, who I'm going to presume were raised by Nigerian parents, to be in such surprise that this was part of the history burned me up, because then you can't turn around also and be mad at African American people that don't understand or recognize the history of Africa, or for that matter, understand and recognize the plight that they're going through now or have come through in the United States, because the story's not being told. They're all combined. They're all together. I present that to you guys because, like I said, as an African, I know it made me feel some sort of way listening to that conversation. What did you guys think? I'm gonna let Crush go first, and then you, L.
Please.
I mean, honestly, I can't be that surprised. You know, the way, I mentioned this before. Erasure is the favorite tool of white supremacy, and that the remnants of that programming are clear here. I can't be I can only give Mr. Kojo credit for being as bold as he was and sharing the information. But this kind of thing that doesn't surprise me. You would expect better from certain individuals, of course, but it definitely highlights, of course, the effects of memory, of lack of memory on whole sections of an immigrant of children of immigrants, especially. I mean, I know there are things I'm still learning about Guyana to this day.
Yeah.
And one strong memory for me was when my father decided to go back to Guyana after 40 years. And when we picked him up from the airport, he was sad. He was actually depressed for a few days after. He said, of course, he said, I know it's been 40 years, but I did not think my homeland would still be in this state.
Yeah.
He was like, I know I didn't. His mother did not raise him and his brothers to have national pride, but it was still home. But it felt even less so when, after having a life in the States, still seeing a colonized nation in the late 90s.
So there's a phenomenal book called King Leopold's Ghost.
Yes.
By Adam Hochschild. Phenomenal. Can't recommend this book more. King Leopold's Ghost, Adam Hochschild. Absolutely phenomenal text. It highlights just how evil King Leopold was, but it also expresses and demonstrates the extension of his evilness and how there were so many other people who are complicit in it.
Yes.
Historians will say that between 10 to 15 million Congolese died from the violence, disease, starvation, and exploitation.
And those are conservative numbers.
Conservative numbers under the hands of King Leopold.
Yep.
And I struggle with even saying King Leopold because I don't want to give him any type of reverence by using that particular title or name.
He's a butcher.
What took place is one of those things that should be studied and talked about and held up in the same pantheon of the Holocaust and the transatlantic slave trade. Not just because of the number of millions of Congolese people who were slaughtered, because of the impact that it had across the continent of Africa. The impact that it's something that we don't do a good enough job of talking about. We don't do good enough job. And there's a number of myriad of reasons why. Largely one of them is in our education system.